Hi, I have a review for you from Someone to Trust by Mary Balogh, and this is number 5 in the Westcott series. I've had the pleasure of reading the first 4 titles. I have written reviews and done video reviews of each title. This review has been written and recorded weeks in advance because the publication date isn't until the 27th, and that's when this video will publish. Here is the blurb. During a rare white Christmas at Brambledean Court, the widow Elizabeth, Lazy Overfield, defies convention by falling in love with a younger man in the latest novel in the Westcott series. After her husband's passing, Elizabeth Overfield decides that she must enter into another suitable marriage. That, however, is the last thing on her mind when she meets Colin Hanrich, Lord Hodges, at the Westcott Christmas house party. She simply enjoys his company as they listen to carolers on Christmas Eve, walk home from church together on Christmas morning, and engage in a spirited snowball fight in the afternoon. Both are surprised when their sled topples them into a snowbank and they end up sharing an unexpected kiss. They know there is no question of any relationship between them, for she is 9 years older than he. They return to London the following season, They returned to London the following season, both committed to finding other, more suitable matches. Still, they agree to share one waltz at each ball they attend. This innocuous agreement proves to be one that will topple their worlds as each dance steadily ensnares them in a romance that will force the two to question what they are willing to sacrifice for love. I really enjoyed this book and I gave it 5 stars. Now, a little history behind the book. First of all, as I mentioned, it's the 5th book in the series. It does do well as a standalone because in the first few chapters of the story, we're reminded of the history that brings Elizabeth to where she is and how, Colin Hanrich is related to the whole situation. And this is simply this. There was an Earl of Riverdale who was bigamously married, and because of such, his supposed wife was dispossessed of her wealth and her position. Her children were as well, and with this disinheritance, the whole family was shaken apart. But it's come together over the last couple of years. Now there's a wedding, and at this wedding, at Christmas time, Elizabeth and Colin meet one another. Now, Colin's sister Wren is married to Elizabeth's brother Alexander, and that's how they are connected. Now, at this wedding, there's a lot of snow, so the guests stay a little bit longer than planned, so they get to know each other a little bit. They really like one another. She sees him as just a beautiful young man who is bound to make a wonderful marriage. He sees her as the most beautiful woman he's ever seen, and he sees down to her very soul. The thing that I like about Colin is that although he has wealth and can choose any woman he wants, he's only going to get married for love. Well, something happens. They share a kiss. They know that this can't go anywhere because of their age difference, but they make one promise to each other, which is to share a waltz at each dance in the coming season. Now, Elizabeth, she wants to be happy. She didn't have a happy marriage before. As a matter of fact, she had a very tragic marriage. Then she sees other relatives getting married and finding happiness and finding joy. So she's still relatively young. She's only 35, so she might be able to find the love of her life. Well, she's already been proposed to, but she told the gentleman that she'd have to think about it. So as the season approaches, she's thinking, maybe I'll take his proposal seriously and find my own happiness. And she also hopes that Colin will find his own happiness. But they're still they begin sharing these waltzes together at these season balls and whatnot. And they suit their temperament, their attraction, what they have in common, everything is suitable except for their age difference. So they struggle to find their own happiness. Well, there's a bit of a catch here. And there's a character that we met in the fourth book in this series that comes back, and it has a very serious role that affects the decisions that Colin and Elizabeth have to make. That really brought a lot of drama to the story, and it ratcheted it up to a 5-star story because it seemed like there was not going to be any hope for this couple that truly loved one another. So it's a really sweet love story. Mary Balogh, she does a really, really good job. It's very easy to love the main characters. It doesn't matter which story in the series you're reading. You become very attached to these people, and all you want is their happiness. So this makes a perfect companion to the rest of the series. I'm really glad that I had the chance to read it. I had a chance to read it in time because it's a first-to-read title, and it had to be read by a certain date before the book would expire on my Kindle, but I managed to get all 5 books read, and I look forward to continuing the series. As mentioned, there's reviews being done ahead of time. I hope that not only will you enjoy this book, but that you'll hop over to your library or to Scribd or to Audible or to Amazon and grab the other titles, read them all. You'll enjoy them. But if you don't want to, no worries. As I mentioned, this will do well as a standalone. That's it. Thank you for your time.